Whenever we hear the testimony of what others tell us, there are several rules that we can use to judge wisely. First of all, we should consider whether the thing reported is even possible, and if not, cannot be credible, regardless of who states it. We should find out if there are any concurring circumstances to prove it, besides the mere testimony of the person that relates it. We should also consider whether the person who relates the matter to us is capable of knowing the truth, whether he is a skillful judge in such matters. If the matter is a mere occurrence in life, just a plain sensible matter of fact, it is usually enough to just inquire whether the person were an eye or ear witness. Consider whether the narrator be honest and faithful, as well as skillful, whether he may have a bias upon his mind, whether he has any benefit or profit by believing or reporting it, whether he may have an interest or principle which might warp his own belief aside from the truth, or which might tempt him to twist his representation a little different from the plain truth. We should consider whether several people agree together in the report of a matter, and if so, then whether these persons might be supposed to join together to spread a falsehood. The Scriptures extol the need for 2 or more witnesses in matters of significance, but it also warns against the dangers of false witnesses as well. When there are several witnesses, it does good to see whether they are of different nations, sects, parties, opinions, or interests. Usually the more divided they are in these areas, the more likely their report is to be true, if they agree together in their account of the same thing, and especially if they persist in it without wavering. Inquire diligently whether the matter reported has a constant, uniform tradition and belief, from the very first age or time when the thing occurred, without any reasonable doubts or contradictions. Has the matter been consistent? Has any part of the matter been doubted by any considerable number of persons? Has there been a considerable number of persons who have searched out and confirmed the matter? Find out whether there are still any considerable objections remaining against the belief of the proposition. Timeliness is another consideration. You may have heard people say, "If this were true, how come you didn't say something sooner?" Timeliness of information can affect judgment. In some reports, there are more marks of falsehood than of truth, and in others, there are more marks of truth than of falsehood. Our degree of agreement or disagreement, or even neutrality, all depend on the degrees of truth or falsehood contained in the matter. The truth of the Christian religion, and particularly of the resurrection of Christ, is a certain matter of fact on which Christianity is built. The fact is not impossible, and the evidence demands a verdict. Perhaps there is nothing that ever was done in past ages, and which was not so well proven and attested as the resurrection of Christ. The apostles and disciples of Christ were not just proclaiming what they were told to say. They were eye and ear witnesses to the truth. In Acts 4:20, they themselves say this when they say, "We cannot but speak the things which we have seen and heard." Other scriptures written by the apostles regularly make mention that they were witnesses. They were not telling fables or lies. Men will not endure years of persecution and stoning and the death of a martyr, all for a lie. They had seen the life and work of Jesus both before and after his death on the cross and resurrection. They could not deny the evidence, not even with their life. So we too, when we read the Scriptures, can be assured of their truth because of the credible testimony of the person who God used to record them.